Welcome back, everybody. The bangers just won't stop. Pilski and Sam, I feel like we got another treat of a map there.
100%. Yeah, honestly, Barca really impressing me. I think Go Next maybe a little bit of overconfidence after stomping Apex yesterday, and a bit more of a strugglesome map for them with Alexi not going absolutely ham this time.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that they lose their own map pick, and that can set you up for a little bit of like a mental falter as the series goes on. But, you know, teams that have made it this far, you know, they're nothing if not tenacious, so hopefully they'll be able to kind of pull themselves towards themselves a little bit more and perhaps even steal their opponent's map.
I just want to say that GoNext did lose to Apex yesterday on their first map, so this is not a new thing for them. They have been able to come back into this game. But let's talk about the new addition, the player that we maybe had a little bit of question mark because they haven't had all that much time to integrate into this roster. But Sam, Jesse, what a player.
Yeah, honestly, not just looking at like how many kills he got, because he was up there for a while. He was top fragging on the team, just such a standout performer. But you then kind of look across a little bit and you see the assists as well, and you can see that he's playing with the team. They're playing off of one another. They're actually using the util well. I was especially impressed with how they were playing on their defensive side, because it really did feel like a well-oiled machine, at least in the first half.
Yeah, I think looking at the head-to-head between Jesse and Profek here, a few things to highlight. Both of these players like stand out in terms of fragging stats on the controller role in both of their respective leagues. Obviously, Jesse coming through from the French league, and even though he kind of his team kind of got pummeled by Job Life in the final, he still did okay for himself, and he did pretty well in the play-ins as well, trying to play through in towards Ascension with Valiant, whereas Profek over in East Search has done pretty well for himself on that controller role as well. So it's been a pretty good head-to-head in terms of these two, but also a fantastic debut map for Barca from Jesse.
Yeah, and it was, I feel like the tech is right. We really saw the Omen tech come out on that map as well. And this is the thing, it was a close affair, and there were a few rounds, Pilski, that didn't exactly turn out the way that we thought it would.
Yeah, definitely not. I think Barca on that attacking side slowing down a little bit. Like their defense was pretty fantastic. It was pretty back and forth action across the whole game, I would say. But Barca kind of scraping it together. It was good to see. I think some kind of clutch plays, it felt like, made a bit of a difference from Barca, but also their overall approach on defense was really good. They were getting Maniac onto these deep info lines and then being able to stack towards the other side of the map. And I think they've had a kind of strugglesome attack side in some of their games over in Spain as well. Like I think they dropped the game to UCAM in the grand final because they only got 2 rounds on their attack. Went 2-10 in the first half, but were able to have a much better time on defense. And I think you saw some of those same struggles outside of the hero plays from some individuals to get them across the line.
And the thing is, you can't really look at the Neon and not talk about kind of the double-edged sword that comes with it, because yes, you can rotate really quick, amazing movement that just jukes your opponents, allows you to get out your gun or take aim or whatever the case is. You can be fantastic on that. But you look at like the particularly like attacking rounds, there were a few rounds where Maniac would like burst onto the site, and then util would come through that would disallow the rest of the team from following up, and he would just be alone on site and he would have to just die. So it can be very difficult to ensure that you are getting the full usage out of that Neon like they were on defense, because that's where he was playing that super dynamic role. The utility was on point. He could be anywhere and everywhere. You just never knew. He was behind you. He was in front of you. He was an absolute menace. And on the attacking side, as Pilski said, you know, we had to see a lot of those clutch moments come through because he just wasn't getting as much value on that role.
Well, here is the million-dollar question as we move on to Icebox, because that is map 2. Now, Jesse, great start, slotting in for the Omen. You know, great performance. But here's the thing, he has never played Clove before, and Barca, they've yoinked that FPX comp. Pilski, what would you do if you were the coach of this team? Do you get somebody that's never played Clove before to fit into that comp you're playing, or maybe try and make him feel a little bit more comfortable?
It's an interesting question for sure. I think the thing is that KPZ was playing the Viper, and that's something that Jesse does play. So I think he's more likely to play the Viper, and Vorwen's going to play on the Clove. So they'll probably keep the comp pretty much the same, I would imagine, if they do want to stick through with that Clove comp. It's just interesting that they picked the Icebox overall because they've only got the one rep on it, which, to be fair, is a win over KPI in the semis over in Spain. But this is kind of a similar story to Go Next picking Haven, which Barca's got a couple of reps on, where you're looking at Go Next and their run over in eSurge just in stage 2, played Icebox 7 times and won a fair few of them. And in the games they did lose, they lost in pretty close fashion. So I think this is another case of like Go Next, they're going to have a pretty good crack at winning Icebox here and trying to make this a 3-mapper.
Yeah, I that was my bad. I inted. I misread. I thought, yeah, long day, been here for a long time. But yeah, I mean, I like the FPX comp, but what do you think, Sam, about this?
Do we really want to know my opinion about Clove on Icebox?
Yes, that's why I asked you.
Don't love it. Don't love it. I feel like you don't have as much plant isolation. I'm a big Sage fan. I feel like Harbor is not quite as good as the Sage, but at least you've got that Cove to try and work with. Whereas with the Clove, you have no isolation, so you are playing very, very kind of out in the open, very little that you can work off of to give yourself that little bit of extra defensive line. I feel like her vulnerable doesn't get as much value. It can work really well on the A site because it is so like enclosed, but there's all that verticality. So you throw it up and people are there, but they're like elevated, so you're not really getting that full value. The post-mortem smokes are always great, but if you die on the wrong side of the map, that's just an overall issue of Clove, not necessarily an Icebox thing. I don't love it, but again, I'm always happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I quite like it. You know, it's something different because on the other side, which I'm gonna triple check that I have not into this time. Yes, it is the basic B comp. We've seen this like a million times. So you know, it's not too much that we can really expect them to do differently.
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, they're just going to play the pretty standard comp where, you have the Sage contesting the map control with the slow orbs and more so used for the wall classically. Point out that Go Next, they did kind of dismantle Diamant in the finals there over in eSurge, so they are riding a little bit of momentum on Icebox, probably feeling somewhat confident coming into this game. The Clove one's definitely an interesting one. Love me some FPX because it's pretty much the only chance I get to be biased about being Australian.
Oh, of course. I was like, where are you going with this? Yeah. No, you claim it. You can claim Autumn, 100%. Why not?
What do you mean? I claim it the whole team. What do you mean Autumn?
Oh.
FPX is from Australia.
Okay. Yeah. I'll let you have that. I mean,
in that case,
what?
RRQ is from South Africa because their coach is Ewok. Can I do that too?
You could also claim that.
Awesome.
You could also claim that. I mean, I've been claiming Sentinels as the EMEA team this whole time, so I think you guys can. But let's take a look at the agent select and see if there's going to be any changes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, Go Next. They're mixing in the KO.
Spicy.
So a bit more of an active comp, right? As opposed to the Sage, they're going to be wanting to fight things. They're going to be wanting to, you could do things like contest A main really hard. You can have these little setups on yellow where on defense you get little KO flashes going and things like that. But of course, the knife's so fantastic at finding info and informing your decision making.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this in action and send this back to your casters and see if we're going to get a map 3. Spoilers, we will. Here's Mitch and Tom.
Yeah, we've sort of got the memo by now, Sue. That's how this goes down. Third map expected. You didn't get the memo? Tom, we're going OT and all the maps. That's what's scheduled for today. So we can't go off script, unfortunately. That means, Tom, you have to sing Baby Shark now. Go ahead. It's in the script. Jen did it.
Good for her. Pistol round underway. Alexic is already going to be kicking things off with a kill onto Size if the script is correct. That's already the first kill of many, it would seem, and already having a lot of pressure. Another collat. Why not? Sheriff collats galore are going to be in so far in this matchup. I've already witnessed 2 of them. Maybe we can add a little bit more. Maniac alongside Jesse. Spike down. Rotation is only just starting. Prophet's like, I will leave now. It's just starting to make his way over, and it means there's some isolated fights. Bold is still going strong, though, and he's going to finish things off with a 4K. A huge pistol round for the pole, as they will get off the block.
Well, 1-0. Indeed, off the block for Go Next, and Barca. I think we left in a little bit of recovery mode for a bit. Pistols round the clock for them. I see one Sheriff. There's a chance they could invest a little bit more, but I'm expecting it to just be Maniac who goes out hungry for some kills. All 5 grouped up. Going to be a quick round at least. We'll find the conclusion fairly soon. There's Barca. They've been read. Go Next are on the way. 4 players will be here waiting for this push.
Zeke's just looking to try and delay them. That extra utility of that KO, and yeah, that was pretty quick. That's about as quick as that could go. And that's the thing. I feel like there's always the argument for like the cookie cutter basic B comp, as Sue was saying, where you could just Sage Wall stuff up, you can have the slows, but I do prefer seeing the initiators. I think Gecko also has a solid place in a lot of the compositions now. But I also don't mind the Clove. I think having the additional smokes, even when we saw teams do it with Brimstone, was quite fun. Having the like vulnerable as well is always going to bring through extra value. And of course, it sort of adds in, like, I know there's some people who are going to physically flinch when I say this, but the sort of brawl ability of someone like a Reyna used to bring, because it's such a popular choice on this map in the past. I feel like Clove is sort of the gateway. It's like you're not taking the full thing, you're not going full crazy, but you could still have that element.
Oh yeah, you're going crazy, just not full crazy. I understand, I understand. Good damage already. Really big 3rd round for the side of Go Next. They want that 3rd map, they're hungry for it. We might just find the reward. Mini even catching Jesse out on mid. There is nothing going the way of Barca right now, and that is not changing as time goes on. At least I didn't think it was. Like, it was a quick 2K. That is all there is to write home about. Big upgrades for the Go Next side, and a successful 3rd round sends Icebox way into their favor.
Yeah, it definitely seems like one of the more sort of like interesting choices coming out for the side of Barca. It's a map that, okay, we saw them beat KPI on in fairly solid fashion, but it's not one that I feel like they've put an awful lot in terms of reps into, whereas on the other side, you're talking about plenty of different combinations in terms of how many times they played this. Sure, they don't have the greatest results, but I also think that this just reminds me of picking like a 50-50 map. I think there's a few teams that I would consider to be experts in this map who a lot of the time will be running like a harbor or something a little bit more deep in terms of the composition. Whereas here it's a little bit more, what I want to say, basic from the side of Barca. And I don't think that it's that difficult right now, at least, for Go Next to read what they're doing. This has just come down to firefights in the last few rounds. And well, if you're going to try and fight Go Next in individual duels, you better be on point.
Yeah, well, I think we've learned that lesson, as I'm sure many more have. Some going by the name of Jesse, Size, Vorwen, and we can keep going. Guardy got added to that list for sure. Barca 4-0 down. A great start to the first map, but, well, the shoe keeps swapping foots. God damn it, I was so close. I almost had it. But the point still stands. The shoes, they're swapping foots and all that stuff. 4-0 with the early lead going the way of the other team. What we saw on the last map. And Barca desperate to recover on it. The Rifles are making their way to the B site, which is very lightly defended. Go Next have stacked 4 players on A. This could be a big mistake with Mini left to do it all, to stop this full rifle push. He's got the whole squad coming his way, and Mini stands strong for 2, even likes Jesse down to 45. Hey, look, he hasn't held the site, but he's done enough.
It's still even a bit tentative for Barca to try and go for a post plant. They don't know that the rest of the team is still rotating on the other side. Knife is available. the Viper screen even going to be going down. It seems like Jesse just wants to play an off angle, hoping for at least a trade. With how low he is on HP, anything here would be valuable. Now, Bold does have utility. The drone's going to be used, and actually it gives him a fight. He's going to take down a couple. And then there's a lurk from Size. I don't know how Jesse has come out again with a mass multi-frag, but this guy has just been putting up numbers throughout the day. Now left onto Profek. Again, a man who was promised by the Polish scene as a superstar, someone to watch, someone to keep an eye on. But right now, Guardi and Size are just playing with that timer. They're using that clock to their advantage. Profek, I think at this point, has just tried to bait them into the spike, escape with the gun, bring something through to the next round. Financially, he didn't really need to do that, but not wanting to just waste that economy early. And Barca, well, they'll have a round, but again, it's going in the Jesse highlight reel.
I really thought Mini had done enough. Not just 2 players, but the fact that Jesse goes down to 45 health. Surely he's out of the round as well. And even as he goes to 5, he's still playing his part, grabbing the info on Profek and leading the squad to close it. 4-1. That's the round they step up in. And Mini's got to be disappointed. That's his first death. And it leads to a round loss. Got to do better than that, Mini. Lightstorm used. And yet, oh, he had a chance. Barely missed the head. And oh, they're offering up a couple more opportunities.
Profek again, aggressively positioned. Is only going to be the 1-for-1. And considering he's the solo B defender, not the ideal start. Maniac as well, maybe hoping that Mini on the other side will get overzealous somewhere else, that the turret will go offline, but it isn't to be the case. He's just waiting now to try and catch any rotations as his team look to try and take that space. The problem, though, is with no utility, and, well, I guess for Maniac, no weapon, he now has to just sit and wait.
Kind of his job right now anyways, with the Killjoy utility just keeping him in position. If he drops down, he's into the alarm bot. And if he goes straight ahead, that turret is going to see him. Waiting for hopefully a pick onto Mini. For him to step just outside of the range. Allow that walk through. He did that. Mini getting hit up, but still, despite his utility falling, able to land the shots. Guardi returns it onto Zeke. We're back to the 3v3, and the push from Jesse gets the advantage. Bladestorm popped on the other side. This time it's go next. Zalek, sick, who's got 2. He's picked them off. The spam through the wall was ambitious. It was brave. It was bold, but it certainly worked out. Size, though, has the after plan. Play this on time, pulling his alarm bot back. I mean, it ain't gonna help you nowadays. It's all about the straight up aim duels up against a Bladestorm and Op as well on that player's back, but it's the knives that are leading the charge, and the rifle that's keeping up the tail. Easy shot on Size, and a round for go next that puts them back in the well, extends their lead.
Definitely looking stellar, and Alexic being back in the sort of form that we wanted to see from him. This guy was lights out yesterday, and just seeing him thrive with the Bladestorm. Mini as well, it seemed like he was gonna get caught out by the timing, but wasn't to be. Back on their opponent's choice. Go next to looking stellar. This is where, yeah, Barca are gonna have to take themselves a moment. Running away with it on the defensive side. A map where a lot of the time you're going to struggle, especially up against this amount of utility. That's always been the thing with this map, is there's a reason why we see a lot of A-site leans, and it's because of just the amount of Molotovs and, well, pretty much grenades and everything that you can just throw into corners and clear that A-site with relative ease. Thus far, Barca have been trying to make their way into the B-site, but it's been a lot more difficult to find the fights that they want, and a lot of plant denial has put them into scrambles quite a lot of the time. They're going to give them, the coach, an opportunity to try and talk this one through, because as we've seen throughout the day, having a 5-something lead doesn't mean jack.
Well, realistically, Barca were almost on the receiving end of that lesson. They're 5-0 up last map and 13-10. That's not a comfortable close. Sitting at 5-1. As much as we've seen that you shouldn't necessarily feel safe. I do think a lot of teams will start to feel that comfort creep in. We'll see if Go Next are in that same boat. A recent round loss might shake them a little bit, keep them awake. And for Barca, economy luckily not in a horrendous position. They still have some weaknesses. You can see there's a Sheriff in play for Vorwin. That might be backed up by the fact that they have a Viper's Pit. If Jesse can get that in position, they'll have a much easier time with holding down that post plant that's evaded them so far.
You can see the lockdown. Not really in position. Guardi already dropped. Alexic is waiting for the fall back, and it's going to be handed to him for free. In fact, they're being torn a new one. Every single player dropping to the deck. Size, Maniac trying to fight this one back. Lockdown even going to be utilized, playing this safe on the Go Next side, not wanting to give these players anything. Size has had so many high impact plays to give them that last map. He's going to try and play ahead of that lockdown, but there was nowhere to go. Zeke was so prepared, and actually Maniac got detained anyway. Right.
Yeah. he's ran, but not quite far enough, I suppose. Tried to get back in the action a little too early. That's 6 on the board. 5-round lead once again for the Go Next side. A return to form, but I mean, this round didn't have that many weaknesses. They had Viper's Pit, they had 4 rifles. Pistol that was in play got opt, so
it's also
really like
if you're running a double controller and I'm watching an operator player just have free roam to just snipe you multiple rounds, I feel like that util is not being properly placed. Like, that's the whole point of having this second controller in the first place, especially on attack, is that you want to be shutting down those angles. And right now, Alexic has been having a field day. Like, he's just been having fun.
Barca also had their wall up and then pushed when it was down, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, well, I pushed towards the end of the cycle. That was a bit of a mistake. Profec, well, he can't even go through that nano. Got to be careful of it. Tag down to 30. Teammate Mini came in to help and lost his life, and Jesse out with a vengeance. A double kill that completely opens the B site. There's still a player having thread the needle back through kitchen and made it up top. I don't think they had seen him, but right there before the wall went up, there's a chance they got a glimpse of the big gun, and it looks like they did. Arsa waiting in a firing squad for that repeat leaves just bold. 1 versus 4, an idea on where one of these players is at least. That's about it.
Now them having I think that this is the debut for Jesse on Barca, and he is looking like arguably their best player. This is going to be the second round where he has got a 3K that has won them the round. Unless, of course, they make catastrophic errors, and I'll be very upset. And you know what? It might not even be a 3K. No, he's going to close it as well. Huge impact for Jesse. A reason that they have anything to show for these last 8 rounds is currently within his pocket. While you're kind of looking at the rest of the team, Vorvin was fantastic in the last map, but it seems they're moving over to that Clove so far, not having that extra util. Because I think he was on the Sova, right? Played fantastic.
Yeah. There's been struggles. Certainly no struggles for young old Jesse. Like you said, stealing the show for the side of Barca. Certainly on this map and just in general. Putting up those numbers. Viper's Pit still available. They are moving towards B. The AWP will be blocked out by the Viper wall, but not up this aggressive. And that's 1 pick already. Dash canceled out by the knife, and a flash on its way will force him back. But Go Next have the advantage, and the stack up on B is now reinforced. There's 4 players here.
It's been the B site hits again and again for Barca. I guess that's where the practice has gone in for this execution. Again, there's been problems in the majority of rounds. Now, they found space on A. Size has been able to get quite far. He's made noise, but he has the lockdown, so that's going to give the space. And actually, Bold is so far away, there's not really anything he can do to deny this. May just opt to try and rotate over and deny the plant instead. which, to be honest, they haven't actually got that far up, considering they've used a lockdown. They've only just made their way onto the site. Counter utility, solid with a snake bite, looking to try and combine that with the Hunter's Fury, but actually it gets nothing. But even still, they haven't got the plant. They haven't gone into the post positions that they would have wanted, and there's only 20 seconds for them to do so.
Toxin screen down.
Screen's gone down. At least got to walk in for free, but they need to start planting very, very soon. Indeed. Go Next thought that the site was abandoned, so they haven't quite got the cavalry here to respond. Maybe some isolated duels. Vorwin jumps up, but just about misses the shots, and now they know exactly where he is. Another round for the defensive side as they push up to 7. The gap back to 5 rounds. And Barca, with more pressure on their shoulders, they've had a couple of big rounds from Jesse. But what else do they have on Icebox?
Yeah, I think that right now, that considering this is the choice of Barca, I'm sort of wondering what they saw. Or maybe it was just the fact that their opponents had a weaker map pool. Maybe they put work in behind the scenes, but right now it's looking really messy. Like using that lockdown, but not being anywhere near enough to take the space. Then you just had immediate counters. Like you had to know there was going to be a counter to that plant with a Hunter's Fury not used for the lockdown. Maybe that's what they were expecting, that it would be used to destroy it. Facing off against this operator for the most part has been a nightmare. And now they're coming in with a pistol. Still a couple of ultimates, but it's not going to be easy to get back into this one.
It's going to be even harder to get into the A site, which is where they're looking to take things straight into the Viper's pit. Ult is gonna be used here. I guess they've invested economy, but you still gotta fight through the pit. I'm really not sure about that decision, and you end up going down to a snake bite too. I think that kind of proves the point. 8-2 for Go Next, and a bit of a head scratcher of a round from Barca, if I'm being honest, Tom.
I think we've had a few. I think they've not found the success that they were hoping for, and then it's just been.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Okay, no, actually, I'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. Ult is running out of time. You're a little panicked. You know, you need to get a kill very soon or you're dead. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, this, even still, I don't think that was the crux of the round. It went from bad to worse. And again, they're taking more and more risks. This time, just back to basics. Maniac leading the charge, the rest of the team following behind him. Again, I feel like this is one of the first, like, sort of normal A takes we've actually seen. Like, a lot of it has just been, again, those B-site takes without really much success, facing an operator, going back to basics, hitting the pacey push, and not aware at all that somebody had already managed to get past the turret.
Now the punish is there, but still the pit to play inside of. This is the real advantage for Barca. See, they immediately just retreat to it. Vorwin's not been having a good time. That's a straight spray through the smoke that's picked up to Maniac. Position known, emerging from the pit, and it's Profek who takes the third as well. Clearing that backside by his lonesome. Plenty of time left for the defuse. 9 rounds on the board, and well, after a 13-10 start for Barca on map 1, their opponent's pick, moving on to Icebox that they chose, Tom. I didn't expect to see this dominant scoreline, and if I did, it certainly was not for Go Next.
Yeah, are we sure we got the veto the right way around?
Is it backwards?
Because, like, they looked, especially on their retakes on that first map, they looked impeccable. Right now, again, it's like, even when they get the advantage in the post, sorry, I'm going to interrupt myself. There's 3 ops for the defensive side. So let's just pick one of those. Let's see where they're sitting or watch if they can get the opener, because this is how much cash they've got in the bank. That's operator number 1, please, has found the first kill. And I guess they had a pact. Whoever got the first kill gets to keep the op. The rest of the players have to throw it away, because even Alexic, who's been opping the whole game, fair enough. You know what? I respect Bold. He gets 2, and he goes, that's enough. Oh. Limbo.
The spike still needs to be retrieved. Just picked up now by Jesse, but Size has just been picked up by Mini. So You got the spike, you got one less teammate to work with. Jesse tries to even the odds, but he's got quite a ways to go before that's a reality. Oh, the nano's gonna cause some damage, delay them as well, and getting the plant down 40 seconds. And Yak up top, backing off, missing the angle, and Alexic in the back has stabbed them, taking it double digits on the board for the defensive side by the time we end the half.
Yeah, absolute domination from GoNext. They definitely didn't get broken by what happened in that previous map. And honestly, unless there is one of the best defensive sides we've ever seen, this is going to have to be a crazy turnaround in the second half.
Welcome back, folks. Double digits for GoNext, and well, they want to do exactly that. Go on to the next map, which will be Abyss if we end up there. And that if it's starting to look more and more likely, Tom. Double digits before we even got to the second half, and showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, they've been blasted. It has been a performance across the board. Like, you're looking at 4 players on 12 kills with half or less deaths. It doesn't get much cleaner than that. Vorven has gone from being one of the top performers to 1 and 12, and I have to say the Clove, for him at least, has been a big miss. It didn't have the impact where it was desired, and he didn't die every single round. Technically, he just died twice in one of them, so it's not quite as bad as it seems.
Oh, a couple shots traded back each way, but it's Mini trying to put in the work for GoNext to close this map out here and now. He's got a double, and Profek follows suit. Just the one. Vor went around the side, and he's grabbed himself the spike planter. Profek, now the last man standing. Just 70 HP, tagged up, Sheriff to work with. No idea on where Says is, and it's the long con that's being played by the Killjoy, wrapping all the way around and drawing the eye of Profek so Vorwin could land those kill shots. That will not be 11 rounds for GoNext. Barca have a comeback in mind.
Yeah, you know what? It was a solid start to the round. Maybe the defensive side is where they truly feel a little bit more comfortable. I will say that, again, we haven't got a mass amount of data, but when they played it versus KPI, they had a 10 to attack. So take that as you will. Again, not mass amounts of data, so maybe it will be a different story. That's where the work has been put in. For Vorven as well, already having a bit of a step up. But again, it is a insanely long road for Barca to turn this one. Maniac, again, going to be putting that Outlaw into play. He enjoyed it in the last, and looks like he's going to enjoy it just as much in this map.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel. When they come towards B main, only thing that can make it better is if you've got a Killjoy turret there to just pepper him up. You'll have to see it. Oh, that was close. Give us another. Quick reload with just one bullet gone, and quick enough as he's able to get the shot off onto Mini. Now they know exactly where Profek is, and they'll deal with him as well. Nicely done. Another round for Barca, and they're going to be on the way back in, but it's 10-4 and a long road to recovery for GoNext. You have to imagine the round is coming. It at least gets 1 on the board, 2, and they've got an OT locked in. There's plenty of runway to get that third up.
Yeah, I'll be honest. honest, I think if after the last half they let this lead slip, we'll be talking about one of the greatest chokes of all time, because they have looked so confident coming back into this map. Considering the last was their choice, it really doesn't look that way. Now, the purchase coming in here is not bad, and you can assume that Maniac is going to be fighting for the orb. Wants to get that Blade Storm online, it would pretty much completely fill the gap of what they have going in this round. It doesn't seem like there's going to be much to deny it. It was a pop flash and a dart thrown in, but hey, Maniac will take that all day long.
I have the spike.
Oh, there's a big push up from Vorwin. It looks like he's found some confidence in the last couple of rounds. The heal popped through, but, well, that's about all there is to write home about. Tag leaving him down to 10 HP. Guardy takes his time to finish him. Now wrapping around, yellow for damage, peppering them up, but despite the low health, that's not going to be enough. Even still, needing 2 knives onto the weakest players to take them down. Unless it's the headshot, it won't be. Oh no, down to just 3 knives total. We really need to see a connection by Maniac if this is going to happen, and Profek puts it to bed right away.
Yeah, it seemed like the initial aggressive stance from Barca was going to be rewarding. Like they get the Blade Storm online, Vorvin was in a solid position, even landing the initial shot with the Outlaw to leave a player low. Even from the point of where Alexic goes pushing, didn't realize there was another player. It seemed like there were moments for 1v1 fights, but Go Next are just running around confident at this stage, winning those battles back. Every single player level on KD or positive. It always becomes tough at that point. But the defense, they're now going to invest back in tenfold. Operator for Maniac. The rest with rifles and a small amount of light shields. But if they let this one slip, the map is done.
Yeah, no, there's going to have to be a
Toxins going up.
monumental comeback. Very passive play from Profek, expecting that flank to come through. Very passive play on A from the rest of the squad, expecting the push to come in. They're spreading a pretty thick blanket across this round. And for Barca, well, they can at least be thankful that they're not an aggressive squad in this one. Playing it passive, sitting back, have your utility to deny plants whenever the push comes in towards A. Make no mistake, push will come in towards A, at least from what we can see. Already of the rotation of Profek. It'll be a 5-man focused hit.
Utility expended. Can't with these angles. Wadi. Fragment in hand. Utility available, but quickly dismissed. But those fights are going their way, at least the initial ones, and the hold from Guardi is perfect. A quick cleanup on the backside of A. The response immediate from the side of Barca, and now you have to start looking again at the economy of Go Next. Is it an investment for this round by the looks of it? No.
No, there'll be problems. Rocky waters that we've entered. I like the setup that Barca are going for. We haven't talked much about that, but I think Killjoy in particular, like just leaving your traps there, always having players close by. You know that whenever that push comes down, Go Next are going to be using utility to clear it out. Minimum you're going to see is the knife going through. Once those players that are playing a bit more passive spot them cross, Nano's activated, buys time for the rotates. In some cases denies the plant. Up against Gecko, it's going to drop the wingman as well, leave Spike in the open. It's a nice setup. The test will be towards B though. And that setup relies on the op hitting their shot, which hasn't happened to start this out. So the pistols will get a plant.
Spike planted. To my world.
That's a winnable position, especially with the Viper's Pit. Although no SMGs, no real spam, it will leave everybody desperately low. A couple of ultimates also pretty damn close, so maybe a kill or two, but the backline has already been cleared. Pop flash out. They're actually going to go aggressive off the back of it. Not going to use the Viper's Pit at all. And now it's just left all onto one. Profek dead and buried. I don't mind the idea, but with a Viper's Pit in play, it almost felt like it was left worthless in the end. And while Barca end up making that retake, well, look a lot easier than it probably should have been.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you have rifles, doing that would be okay. Like, flashing out of the pit, you know that they're probably grouped up. They probably heard steps around yellow, so there's like really good information. But there's your problem. Look at the time to kill for Alexic onto Vorwin, and then for Zeke, he misses his shots, and that's if you miss your first two, it just goes to panic. You're just tapping as quick as you can. You don't know when that bullet's going to hit you in the head. And yeah, if you got a rifle, you're probably getting away with that. You can just start running and spraying. They're blind as hell. Irrespective, I'd rather you play in the pit, but you know, we all got to have different ideas on how to play the game. Right here, that hasn't worked out. Barca 6 to 11, 5-round gap. We've seen that before. That didn't stop them, but we're very late in the game. Very little room for error.
Fast pace hit.
My ultimate is ready.
Or at least it seemed quelled by the null command of Guardi. With a lot locked down on the other side of the map. Deep control in mid from Size. Barrel being spotted by Maniac, and he's going to swing in. Wanted to try and deny the player off the back of the lockdown. A further swing from Guardi. He looks to do it alone. It's 1v1 fights, all on individual positions. But Vorven's going to try and play this one smart. Gets the advantage back. He has his ultimate as well, so the thing is he could go facing in and still have another chance at this, another bite at the cherry. That's the plan. And he'll get that done. Put things into a 3v2, but he's got to get a move on. He's got to get running, or at least try and make some space for his team, and that's exactly what he's done. Gets the kill, makes the space, Jesse to close it. Barca still on that climb.
Oh, they're not going anywhere by the looks of things, and a Viper's Pit going to be active for the next round. If you remember the last time that Viper's Pit was on for the defense, well, it was Barca that just ran straight into it, gifted a round away. This time, I don't expect them to do that because they don't need to push. And they're the defenders now. It'll be their pit. Yeah, I think at this point, it's starting to feel like the game is actually recoverable. And I think Vorwin as well. My guy was on like 1 kill for the longest time. He has had a couple of big rounds, a couple of big kills, some aggressive stances as well that I've liked seeing him take, despite the fact that this has not felt like a good map for Vorwin. And now as a result, well, right back in the pack, not even at the bottom anymore. It's good to see. Go next, call a timeout here as they will assess their current position. Credits are in the bin a little bit, so I expect a pretty light buy.
They definitely seem to be struggling with just how aggressive some of these plays are. Like the Maniac swing, the consistent refrag attempts, and it was only really the fact that Vorven was able to do that with his ult and get out of there without too much trouble, and then fight back in with the rest of the crew. That was what ended up taking this round over the line. But it seems like both teams have had sort of similar struggles. Like getting those openers, even getting into the post plant has been a lot more of an issue than maybe you would expect, especially on that A side. That's the thing. When you are running comps that don't necessarily have that util to get you into the post easily, you are going to lean in this direction and go next to constantly trying to pressure. But I feel like Guardi especially has been fantastic. Like, he has been someone that has caused them so many issues, delayed timings just off his util, be it the fragment, the knife, or his ultimate, which he's had a couple of times. Now you look at the purchase in this round. Okay, a couple of ultimates again to try and bring them a little closer. And again, we look at Alexic as the man to watch.
He's made it up close with the Blade Storm. He's going up and over as well. They didn't see him. Not up first, and that gave a real opportunity. He will be forced back and shut down. Mini, the only one stepping up for the attacking side here. This was a blink and you miss it round. A flurry of frags across the map. The A side completely shut down on the push. Mini found 2. The other 3 are grouped up. Jesse and Maniac up top, and it's only Size who was on his own.
No.
Isolating another base on it. All 5 in the back pocket. What? And that's 12 rounds locked in as a result. A sensational clutch by Mini.
We've got the new best play. I feel like it's being upgraded as the days go by. I think it was started off by Alexic yesterday with his ace with 4 kills coming through a smoke. I feel like it was upgraded by Davey earlier in the day with a 1v5 3K. And while, yeah, you know what, Bus? You know what? I think I'd also take a pause because Mini has just pulled off a 1v5 clutch to close out a round with a Bulldog. Like, I feel like it has to be said. Most of the time, the Bulldog in multi-frag scenarios is hot trash. And somehow he has managed to pull off a round that is going to haunt the nightmares of Barca for the next millennia.
What I would pay money for, you seen like the whole, I feel like everyone these days is familiar with the whole multiverse theory and all that sort of stuff. And there's a world out there where everything about this Barca team has been the exact same. Even that round played out the same. The only difference is that maybe we have coach cams and the coach is Pipson. And that, for me, that would be the highest level of entertainment for Barca. If I got to see Pipson as Barca's coach in that moment, that is...
You understand that coach cam wouldn't exist anymore.
Oh, I'm not sure half the players would. If I'm being honest with you. It was...
I think the wall would be gone. Like, the room would just... He would detonate like a nuclear bomb. Like, it would just... you just see, like... and everything would disappear.
It was... That's one of those rounds I'm going to confidently say you should not lose. And even down in the 3v1, individual peaks, Size gets picked off, Maniac goes wide, his teammate doesn't. They're just not on the same page. And that's a hiccup that you can't allow to go. Yep, the pause is the right call. Even if you're not going to win the map, 5 rounds in a row is a big task. You still want to set yourself up to play every round to the best of your abilities, and that's a good start.
Oh, it almost gets a little bit better. In fact, it will. The danger seemingly gone. Alexic now the last man standing. Maniac still wants to give this one a go. For the love of God, don't give this man any more fights. Please. You've got yourself the spike on the deck. I don't know if it's the same for you, but Alexic is moving in slow motion. He'll get the last kill anyway.
You know, you asked for the slow-mo earlier, Tom. We're incorporating live slow-mo now. I feel like it's the next step forward. Whenever I think something... It's actually me. I have a foot pedal here. Whenever I think something cool is going to happen, I just tap that bad boy. It's quite helpful. I'm expecting something really cool right now, as you can tell, Tom.
Well, I don't know if this is on our end or if this is live. So, oh. Oh, wow. We have gone forward quite a bit. Obviously, this is a scenario where for Go Next, financially, not in the best position. Few pistols, a rifle for Alexic, an opportunity to be a hero, but with the Viper's Pit, lockdown, operator, rifles, like, you'd have to be surprised if they're able to take this one over the line. Nonetheless, there's confidence in that duelist. He's going to go down, though, and that's the gun gone. That should be round over.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it from what I think I can see, Tom. I think that Go Next about to be a bit of hot water.
Oh my God, Maniac's got a kill. Now it's only left to the pistols, but they managed to get a couple of kills very quickly. Unfortunately, it seems like the spike has been defused.
Tom, you have no idea how much I wanted to hear you cast a winning moment like that. They've actually equal clutched it. Like, that would have been legendary. Oh my God. Well, it looks like we've hit that time of night. Myself and Tom are having collective aneurysms. It's been too long.
What do you mean?
Oh God. So Someone's out there like checking their Twitch playback, like, oh, have I got it on like 0.5? What's going on? Well, go next in a bit of trouble. From what I can see, Vorwin's on a tear. I talked about his aggressive stances and how time after time we had seen him start to heat up, start to feel some of those early battles, and there it is, the double followed up by Maniac's kill. Now it's Zeke and Profek with the world on their shoulders, trying to carry forward at least some semblance of a win, at least do damage, make this one look competitive, and they've done that with Vorwin down.
2 versus 4. It seems like for... Maybe it's just when I talk. It was fine the whole time. Go next, trying to turn this one back. Slow-mo pot flash and left onto Profek. He does have the spike, but any opportunity to plant. He doesn't know what angles are clear. If he is going to put it anywhere, it almost needs to be safe, and he's hoping to try and find a gap, find an angle, find a spot where there isn't multiple players watching. That would have been a pretty bold play. Like, I respect it if he had stuck that one all the way through. Instead, though, he's going to get taken out. Maniac will be there to close another round. Barca, from a 10-2 deficit, are somehow making this competitive. And the only round they've lost of the last 7 was a 1v5 ace.
I have to say, my favorite part about this map so far is that we just got word, Tom, that the tech issues we were seeing were only on our side. So for all the people watching at home, it does seem like you have just had a mental break.
That's okay.
Which is beautiful. That's wonderful. I'm gonna go back and watch that later. It's gonna be beautiful. But yeah, in case you guys couldn't figure out, we had a little bit of slow-mo on our end. It seems like everything's back to normal now, so we should be able to give you a good and proper cast to close out this one. And at 12-10, I think that's deserved. Barca are really putting up a fight. They were 5 rounds behind, looking down and out, had to have a bit of a comeback to get into that position in the first place. And now, while Go Next are deep into the home stretch, that one extra round has evaded them. Not only that, but the one that, well, you guys just witnessed, I'll say, Go Next invested everything into. Now they don't have any cash to work with, no credits. And for Barca, that means 1 buy round, and maybe 1 round where Mini has a bulldog, stand in their way from taking this to overtime and potentially closing it 2-0 and stopping Tom from doing a fast motion voice later. I don't know what he's going to pull out next.
That just don't even make sound. It'll sound like a VHS being rewound, which 98% of you won't even know what that is. Maniac under pressure. First shot connected, but he's going to get overwhelmed. The thing is, Size has already managed to drop another in the meantime. The only issue, though, is that operator has now gone into Alexic's hands, and we know that this man can take over a round.
The other issue is that you don't have a turret anymore, and although they should know that players can have already crossed up into kitchen, Mini was waiting. It looked like he had perfect timing. Now that gap is being covered, not just by Size, but Vorwin is rotated in. Now they're going to clear it out together. Hopefully a little isolated. It's given the chances. It got me worried, but in the end, just the 1 kill still. 1 gap, 1 kill in between them, and it's Alexic that's landing it to equalize. Bladestorm online, up to his teammate. This is now a serious round for Go Next. They could close it out here and now. A shot from Profek on his low HP. All that's needed to cement this, and it's actually Alexic continuing on the Bladestorm. Vorwin seems to be done at this point. His chances trickling away as the seconds slip out of his hands, as does the map. 13-10, Go Next, take it in the end.
Oh, it was a fight in the end after what was a 10-2 half, but the Polish squad will get themselves the job done. We'll be back after the break to see if they can turn it completely.
See you.
In my zone, yeah, I feel at home. Silence on my phone, focus on my goals, whoa.